to the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce Member Connection. I am your host, Eric Knowles, and it is Black History Month. It is 2024, and I am excited. Miss Mairlyn Lightbourn, how are you?
I am just awesome. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm, having you here. We were talking a little bit before. Lightbourn,
yes.
Bahamian,
yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, definitely.
We live in Miami, founded by Bahamians back in the 1800s, settled in Coconut Grove. You got any Coconut Grove connections?
Not really, but I realize that I have a lot of family that is still there or have lived there. I moved here from New York and LA.
Okay.
So at the time that the Coconut Grove was filled with Bahamians, I wasn't in that era at that time.
Right.
But,
so tell us a little bit about you and your story, and I want to know more about your business.
Okay, well, taking my story back a little, I am from Nassau. Well, actually, Sandy Point, Abaco.
Okay.
Was where I was born.
Okay. Beautiful Abaco.
Awesome. It's great.
I've only had one opportunity. I've been to Abaco once. And, the Bahamas, I tell this story all the time. I got friends from all over the Caribbean. And everybody talks about their water.
Right. Yeah. It's the most beautiful, right?
Yeah, no.
But not like Nassau.
No, not
like
at all.
Nassau, especially in the Abacos.
Right.
I mean, the water is so clear. You can see, you can just look down like you're looking in a mirror.
But then the folks from Exuma tell me that's even
better. So
let's not get into that.
No, we're not going to get into that. But yes, I was born in Nassau. Abaco, Sandy Point. My parents was Walter Lightbourn and Rachel. Her maiden name was Bain at the time. Rachel was an awesome designer. She designed, I don't remember which year, that the Miss Universe pageant was held in Bahamas. She designed all of their dresses for the performance, for the pageant, yes. And anyone back in the 80s, 70s, 60s who got married had a designer dress made by Rachel.
Wow.
So, and actually they made a song for her, Let's Go Down to Rachel.
Okay.
And it's still playing on the radio today. But fast forward, I lived in New York for a short time. I graduated middle school, and then I moved to California, and there I graduated high school.
Okay.
And after a divorce, married, 2 children, divorced, I moved to Miami, Florida.
Okay.
And that's where my life began to really flourish. I became a probation parole officer, working with the state of Florida. South Florida Reception Center was where I worked as a classification officer. Moving from there, I got into probation classification officer, moved to probation officer, working with offenders and with a lot of the judges, the court system, and so forth. In the meantime, I earned a bachelor's degree from Miami-Dade, associate here at Miami-Dade Community College, and obtained a master's degree from FIU.
Okay.
And later on, obtained another master's degree from St. Thomas University. After leaving probation for a while, I got kind of the probationers and the people on the streets were carrying bigger guns than I was. So I'm like, okay, it's time to switch. During the interim, I married a great partner, Dr. John E. Oshodi. He is a clinical forensic psychologist, licensed psychologist. He has his own practice here in Miami, Florida. And he kept saying, Mairlyn, you'll be great with teaching. Why did you get into teaching? And growing up in the Bahamas, you never had a back talk, or whatever was said was said. You didn't question.
Right.
Sit. You never was a why.
Right.
So I'm like, no, because students, these kids today,
is different.
They're different. And I'm strict. I say, let's do this. This is what we're going to do. You know,
Right.
we're here to learn, not to
Right.
play. So I'm like, no. But eventually he
Convinced
really
you.
convinced me to
Right.
get into education. And I got into education because I have a master's degree in social work. I wanted to be a school social worker.
Okay.
And there was an open house at FIU North campus, and I think the program for the ESE, which is special needs area,
Right.
had just really began to blossom. And the director at that time stated, well, why don't you just, instead of social work, get into this new program and see if you like it. Just get your feet in there, and which I did. And I found it to be so rewarding. I just
Okay.
fell in love with teaching. I fell in love with teaching, especially teaching individual students with special needs. The fact that I had a student in my classroom and their cognitive level was low, or their social skills was just low, and to really work with those students and see the improvement and see the progress that they made was just outstanding, and which really made me fall in love with education. So I've done education for a while, I've taught that for a while, and the students and the parents, and I thought it's time to retire. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm retiring, I can help my husband out and everything. So at this time, I did apply and got my nonprofit, which is Institute of Holistic Empowerment. And holistic is spelled with a W and not DH.
Okay.
So I opened that, and it was just dominant for a while. But after retiring, I said, okay, let me work into this. And what I did, I applied at vocational rehabilitation, where they work with individuals from high school to adults that has a disability. Any parent that have a 504 plan or individual plan on their child can apply. So I find myself doing what again? Teaching.
Okay.
Teaching, educating, empowering individuals. So the way the program works, those from middle school, high school students, for instance, want to obtain information, skills necessary to get into the workforce. So what we do, we provide financial literacy training.
Okay.
We provide social skills and life skills training. We provide self-advocacy training. We provide tutoring, mentoring, and also helping them to find employment. So once we get them employed, some of the individuals that may need supported employment, we actually work with them along with the employer to really, move them along, see what is needed, what additional training may be needed to work with those individuals.
And how long have you, I know you started a nonprofit, but then after you retired,
I really got into working it. And it's been now about 7-8 years now.
Okay.
Working into it.
And you're based where?
In North Miami.
In North Miami.
The office is in North Miami.
Okay.
During COVID, everything kind of shut down.
Absolutely.
And I was thinking, okay, the nonprofit is not doing too good. Maybe I can open up another company.
But before we open that other company, we're going to take a little break.
Okay.
And then we'll be back. So a word from one of our supporters.
Learn and earn today at Miami-Dade College. College graduates earn 56% more than high school graduates and $1 million more in lifetime earnings. A degree from MDC is your path to greater earning power and career success. Choose from hundreds of affordable high-tech and in-demand career programs, including cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, business, and nursing. Learn and earn today at MDC and fast-track your career. Enroll now at mdc.edu/purpose.
Hi, and welcome back to the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce Member Connection. I'm your host, Eric Knowles, and we have Miss Mairlyn Lightbourn here with us talking about the things that she is doing to help our community with her nonprofit. But the one thing I want to talk about before we go into you're starting another business.
Okay.
You were a parole officer, and obviously being a parole officer, you're working with folks who have come out of the system. One of the things that, as a chamber and working with businesses, we find that it's hard to, because of so many different things in the place, like say, check the box, you've heard about that.
Right, yes.
Removing that check the box.
Right.
So that people can actually move into the workforce.
Right.
Where did you see, or what challenges did you see from your perspective as being a parole officer?
From being a parole officer and an educator, I see that the challenges of inmates that are coming out, or those who are on probation and really haven't had the skills that they need to obtain employment, or training that they need to obtain employment, I found that they were going back into the system, especially if there were no family support. That will help them navigate the system with all of the checkoff boxes. So with the company that I have, those same individuals now are able to, if you don't know how to interview, you don't have a resume, you don't know how to dress for that job, those are training that they don't have and that they would need, which will help them from returning back to prison or back to jail or back on probation, because there's no skills. But once those skills are obtained, and then they have someone who can continually mentoring them, and they can come back and ask questions. Mm-hmm. I think that will cut down on the recidivism going, back into the system.
Right.
So education, training, mentoring is very important to keep them from returning back to the old life. Because with those training and they obtain a job, now they're making their money. We also discuss financial literacy, how to open a bank account. And a lot of them don't know that.
Right.
And these are adults.
Right.
Don't have a bank account. What's the difference between a credit card and a debit card? What about saving? What about investing? What about moving up now to really get your apartment or even purchase a home?
Right.
So training is very essential.
No, that's beautiful, because that, I find, one of the biggest challenges, and even today with companies, again, trying to employ individuals, like you said, have been in the system. They come to apply for a job, but they don't know how.
Exactly.
They don't dress the part,
Exactly.
et cetera. So the work that you're doing now, you said before we took that break, you said you kind of started or was thinking about another business.
Yeah, during the COVID, I opened up an LLC, and
Okay.
I named it after my mom, Natalie's Training and Advocacy Resources. And it's actually, it's the twin of my nonprofit.
Okay.
So we're doing the same services, but on a LLC basis.
For-profit side.
For-profit side, exactly. And we're doing the same thing. And I think with the LLC, it allows me to be more open and free to set, this is what I can do, and no payment for it at all. Or I
Right.
could not do this, or, but my own decision, instead of actually going to the board to get an approval, to do this, to
Right.
do that, to do, well, as far as the nonprofit goes.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
Yeah, so I opened the LLC, and it's now about 2 years, going into the third year now. Okay. So what I have done was went through the process of becoming certified with Miami-Dade County Public Schools. Both companies are now. Black-owned business, female-owned business, looking to acquire grants to really get into the area, into our inner city area, and especially our high school students who are graduating high school and still don't know how to read, or graduating high school and reading on a third or second grade level. And as an educator, I've seen it, and I'm still seeing it today. So to capture that population and to really hone in on those students and elevate them with the knowledge that they need, especially how to dress. Body language is so important. What to say at an interview, prepare that resume and actually find them a job
Right.
at some of our local businesses.
What the thing you say, and I guess this is being between a rock and a hard place.
Okay.
When you say that resume. Now, I just came out of prison. So how do you work through a person that just has come out of prison and you're telling them, well, you need to put a resume together?
Well, a resume can still be, it can be very intense or it can be really short. And a lot of times they're in prison, but they are learning a skill.
True.
They're learning a trade. They might come out to be some of your best carpenters,
Right.
Even mechanics,
Right.
plumbers. So they're learning a trade. So all of that information could be on the resume. And of course, you definitely want to let the employer, the potential employer, know that you were in prison.
Right. You want to be truthful.
Just truthful. That you just got out and this is what you've learned in there. And everyone is looking for a chance. So the resume is not this extensive resume, but at least you have your information.
A background.
A background. And then you will have where we will help them get an email set up so they
Right.
can receive email, a phone number, an address. Even if it's a parent or a friend address, that information could come.
Right.
And then take them, do the training with them on body language and what to say and or how to ask questions on an interview.
Right. You talk about grants. Are you familiar with the Miami Foundation?
Yes.
So have you applied for any of their grants?
I just actually, talking about that just last week, I
Okay.
looked into that and I'm like, wow. Because I went to a company that they funded, and I was one of the attendees in the audience, and I'm like, wow, I didn't know that this was around.
Right.
So I looked into it because I'm looking at if I can get a building that, and I know they do.
You know
with
about that program.
Yes, to get a building, and even if I find partners that we come together and we have the building, and you're doing your set over here, I'm doing my part over here, and another partner's doing their part, we can come together as a
Absolutely.
community
Absolutely.
and support the community in the various parts that we're putting together as a whole. So yes, I am definitely going to look at my application and get it in
Right.
for that grant.
So you started two businesses. What does the future look like?
My future looks like a building that has Institute of Holistic Empowerment in there.
With a W.
With a W. And we are in the community, we're supporting the community, we're empowering the community with resources, necessary resources, training, educating, empowering, just giving them the knowledge, and then let them go out there and shine. And because they are shining, then we shine, of course. Well, where did you go? Well, who did you talk to?
Right.
Well, we spoke to the CEO at Institute of Holistic Empowerment, Inc. They are there to help you. So we are building a strong community, building strong families in the community.
Wow. So if someone wants to get in touch with you, how can they do that?
If someone wants to get in touch with me, my number is 786-489-5429. Or you can go to the website, which is www.iweempowerment.com.
You know, this conversation, it can go on, helping folks get back into the workforce, helping our
Yes.
community grow. It takes individuals like yourself. So
Thank you.
please follow up with Miss Mairlyn Lightbourn. If you want to know more about the Miami-Dade Chamber, you can call us at 305-751-8648, or you can go to our website, www.m-dcc.org. I am your host, Eric Knowles. This has been the Miami-Dade Chamber Member Connection. See you the next time.